Shalom, family. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right, family. First of all, I want to wish you a happy Sabbath. Your wife Sabat, and I just want to thank you for taking the time to listen in on me. Um, I do thank you for taking that time, and I appreciate it. Uh, so, with that, today is a short class um, about it. This is a subject that I find very interesting according to Scripture. You know, it won't be long. It's going to be quite a small class today, but or talk. And this is reference to uh, Second Peter's 3:10 to 3:12. Second Peter's uh, 3 verse 3 uh, 10 through 12. Uh, and it's I'm going to read it to you first of all, uh, and then we'll talk about it. Let me just read it to you. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are there shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, in the manner of person ought ye to be in all conversations and kodashness. So, and looking for and hasten upon the coming of the days of Elohim, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So, you know, today I just wanted to talk about, from the beginning when the first time the world was destroyed, it was destroyed by fire. Uh, Stand correct. It was destroyed by water in the time of Noah. There was the great flood. Now we know the rainbow was a symbol that he would no longer flood the earth with water. Uh, but next it will be by fire. Now I know a lot of people say that, well, nuclear destruction or a war and things like that will be its next destruction. But I pose a thought for you. Uh, Now again, I don't know what the Most High is exactly going to do. No, nobody knows. It's the Most High. He gives us signs and he tells us how he's going to do it, what he's going to do, but that's not necessary how. Uh, no one knows the time or place when any of this is going to occur, and I don't proclaim to be a prophet to do so. But I want you to think about this as far as the earth being destroyed by fire. Now, I have a theory on this, and again, it's just not my theory. Does not necessarily mean it lines up exactly with Scripture, but the Bible do say we have to have wisdom and common sense. Now, in reading that verse and others about saying that the earth will be burned by fire, I come to somewhat of a conclusion that the fire will be lava. Hear me out before you say this man is crazy. Lava is liquid fire. It will scorch the earth. It's on every continent. It's in every place. It's even under the seas where there are uh, eruptions that occur under the sea that will most likely kill all fish. When the starvation of the sea it will be destroyed. Now, I know Revelation it talks about the earthquakes and eruptions, and it all falls in line if you have a science, even if you are have a scientific view on things. Well, I give you an example. If lava were to erupt, like Yellowstone Park, which is, as they scientists say, is due to erupt. It has one of the biggest lava pits about the size of the state sitting up under Yellowstone. Now, if Yellowstone was actually to erupt, that would cause devastating destruction, not just in America, but throughout the world. People don't understand the impact that it would have. And that could cause a catastone of many eruptions throughout the world. Now, the Bible speaks of the earth being dark for 3 days and stars falling out of the sky, uh, uh, which can also mean that meteorites coming down to Earth, hitting the Earth, um, and those can actually cause the chain reaction of the volcanic eruptions throughout the world. So it could be many possibilities. Now, which one starts first? That's up to the Most High. But it makes sense. I'm going to try to make logic to some that are willing to hear. Uh, no matter how it starts, the volcano eruptions throughout the world, rather whether it's Yellowstone, mountains in Washington State and Hawaii, all throughout the world, the volcano eruptions, tectonic plates moving, clashing. There's eruptions up under the sea that will kill a fish, and the gases that will surround the earth and create a darkness from the ash. 3 days of darkness. That's where your 3 days of darkness can come from. Now, I'm not saying that's how it's going to happen, but scientifically, that is predicted to happen if all these volcanoes erupted. And there's another reason why I say that the fire is the liquid fire that comes from the earth, because the Most High tend always to use the elements He created to do His destruction. I mean, throughout the Bible, He used water to flood the earth. Now, he didn't use any. He used the elements. So why wouldn't He use the elements again? Same as the water before, but this time it's liquid fire. Yeah, liquid fire is basically lava, and that was scorched the earth. Yeah, I mean you have the earthquakes and you have all the other destruction that He speaks of in Revelation, in Peter, Second Peter, but I always try to put a logic to something, and I know I do not have the understanding or the of the Most High. I don't claim to know what He's doing or what He's going to do, but I do try to be wise and put some logic to certain things, because the Bible said He doesn't change. Just like He put our Israelite brothers and sisters to 4 captivities, more than that, because you got to think about in 1492 when we were in Spain and we were in captivity and went out in slave ships even then. So it's a routine that the Israelites do if we pay attention. And we go into captivity, we shipped out, uh, um, we come back together, we get it together again, and then we seem to do well for a minute, but we go against God's laws again, and we go back in captivity again. And it's like a routine over and over again. We flee, we leave the area, and that's one of the things I always tell my brothers and sisters. We always are fleeing, and no one is picking us up. So if you're waiting for someone to pick you up, a ship, or waiting for a burning bush, you keep waiting. There's nothing new under the sun. Uh, Throughout our captivities, we have always fled. Whether it's the 10 tribes that went across the Euphrates, we went across into Egypt, from Babylon, when we dispersed our own ways to Yahweh Shai, when Joseph and Mary had to flee to Egypt. We were always fleeing. as a people, uh, and we had to do the work. Uh, that's what he mean by gathering us. But I'm not going to go there. It's he put it in our thoughts, in our minds to leave, and that's fairly clear if you read the Bible. That's what he's talking about. Um, he ain't going to pick us up in no spaceship. He's going to put the ideas in our hearts and our thoughts to do what we need to do. Because, like he said, we take one step, he take two. It works by faith, but faith without works is dead. But again, I'm not talking about that in a sense. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the fire. I just want to leave that thought, and I'm just going to leave y'all with this thought of the day. So when he say the earth is going to be burned by fire, don't necessarily think that he's talking about nuclear explosions or meltdown, because in all reality, a nuclear explosion doesn't even melt down but the perimeter that the length of the explosion. It will melt down. The heat will go out, but that's the area in which the impact is at. So there will be areas more affected by the radiation than the explosion itself. So the lava, on the other hand, will burn an entire city down once the earth cracks. I mean, we know of lost cities that were destroyed by lava underwater that sank to the ground and were totally decimated. So the Bible speaks of. An explosion will blow up a certain area. The heat from the nuclear weapon was just like the Japanese, in Hiroshima when the explosion blew up. Now, most of the people within the close area of the explosion died, and someone would instantly be burned, but the radiation is what did most of the death. Because the explosion is a quick heat. After it's gone, uh, it's only going to reach so far out, and then the radiation is what kills people. So when they talk about, oh, it's going to be nuclear explosions and that's what I disagree with that. And the Most High again can do what He want to do, but from seeing how He done things in the past and how He done things in Scripture, He uses His elements because He wants to show His power, and His power is everything. I agree. But his natural powers he seemed to use the most. Rather, he used the thunder, the lightning, the rain, the water, the heat. It's always the elements that he used to render his judgment. The whirlwinds. So I'm gonna go with what he's known to do, you know. And that's not gonna be a new thing with nuclear explosions. So I tell you this, so when you hear stories about the earthquakes, which the Bible scripture speaks of, and the volcanoes and the high rate of volcanic activity throughout the world, even the place where you're going to live to escape, think about the Titanic plates that are under it and the volcanic activities. These are things that might save your life. Uh, so with that, my brothers and sisters, just food for thought. I love you, and you guys take care, and I do hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath. All praises to the Most High.